All right, guys, welcome back to the show. In this video, guys, we're talking about DSA, the Democratic Socialists of America. They're back on TV, and they're talking about defunding the police. Now, this news anchor asks a very specific question, and listen to exactly how she answers it, and then we'll discuss what the DSA is really up to. Here we go, guys.
Landscape in America.
Right. There are plenty of people who point to some very controversial positions that DSA takes. Let's talk about some of them. Your policy agenda on law enforcement is to defund police, ultimately to get rid of police departments, correct?
Well, what I would say is that we're dramatically overspending on police right now.
I understand, but the goal is to defund the police departments so we don't need them in the future.
I think it's what we really want to see is a horizon where folks are not reliant on armed enforcement to meet our public safety needs.
Right, but it says defund police on the website. That's your goal. And also to get rid of prisons and jails, correct?
Yes.
So if my daughter is assaulted and raped, is there any agency that would seek to find her assailant and bring him to justice?
Of course, yeah, of course.
What
absolutely.
would it be if not police, and where would he be if not a jail?
So I guess I really want to avoid getting kind of caught into these hypotheticals and talk more about the reality that we're actually facing right now.
Okay, let's pause right there. She says that that is a hypothetical. The news anchor asks a very specific question. If my daughter was assaulted and raped, what would happen? And she somehow doesn't know how to answer, right? She says, well, let's get rid of the police. Let's get rid of jails. Of course we have an answer. Well, what's your answer? Well, you know what? Now we're talking about something that's probably not going to happen under our government because everybody's going to get along. It's going to be a huge utopia. We'll all love each other. Oh my God. Anyways, let's finish up, see what she has to say here.
Which is that we're spending absolutely outrageous amounts of money on police and policing, and we're not spending money on things that actually make people safe and feel safe, which is things like actually well-lit streets. The streetlights in Los Angeles, everybody agrees it's a huge problem.
Oh.
Things like mental health care and substance use treatment. So things that drive people to commit crimes and to that make our society less safe. We're not doing anything about the root causes, and instead we're funneling money into the police.
Abdul,
yes, that is right. That is right. We're funneling money into the police. We're not taking care of our mentally ill, our people with addiction. And the answer is to just get rid of the people who protect us, and then we'll figure out what's going to happen after that. You know, if she was being honest with him, she would have said that, well, I understand that man did that to your daughter, and we're really sorry, but we really need to sit down with him, and we need to ask him some questions like, how did he grow up? How was his childhood like? How did his dad, his mom treat him? What kind of school was he bullied in? All of these things will let us figure out why he did what he did. And then when he says, I'm sorry, we'll let him back out because he's ready to be a good person in society now. So that's really their mentality. And I'm telling you right now, it just doesn't work. I'm sure you guys can all agree. If you agree with what I'm saying, go ahead and please put it down in the comments that this is a bunch of BS. It's not going to work. We cannot live in a utopia. You know what I'm saying? Oh my goodness. And then, so now we have her, and now we have Hong, who's running for governor. She's asked a specific question again about defunding the police. And listen to what she has to say.
This is some of your far left posts. I would say they're pretty far left, right? It's, for example, you say abolish the Senate. You want ICE out of Wisconsin. I understand the abolishing ICE is something you probably still want, but you also said to defund the police 4 times. And you want to defund the police as a first step towards abolishing the police. Now, President Trump won Wisconsin twice. It is the ultimate purple state. I set my novel there for a reason. It is the place where you have to have the most appeal to both sides or to independent voters. Why shouldn't people take you at your word when you say that you want to defund the police and go towards abolishing it?
Dana, first of all, I have to say thank you so much for featuring my home state in your novel. And I
You're welcome.
believe that as a democratic socialist, what that means is that I would like to put working class people first over
How
mega
does defunding the
corporations
police
or
put working
the
class people
and,
first? I mean, I think that
Oh,
well,
you're about to enter into a general election, likely with Tom Tiffany, the Republican. That's not going to be an easy race. It's going to be very easy for people to put up on the board and say, you said abolish the Senate, defund the police, abolish the police. And why should they not believe that you would want to do that you would try to do that if you became governor?
I believe that people can evolve. We meet Trump voters from previous elections who now would like to vote for me, who have a
pause right there. People can evolve. What are you talking about? Defund the police, ICE out of Wisconsin, support defunding the police, abolish the Senate, get rid of government, get rid of border. And she's like, oh, people can evolve to this new world we're trying to create. Oh my goodness, these people are absolutely insane.
sign in their yard.
So who needs to
believe
evolve,
that
the voter
the
or
governor
you?
cannot defund the police, and I won't defund the police.
So
but
you
I
have
will
evolved.
invest in the things we know prevent crime, like getting guns off of our street, making sure there is victims for justice, that there are places where our kids can go after school and thrive. We can't be tough on causes. We have to be tough on causes if we would like to be tough on crime. And as governor, I cannot defund the police, and I've reminded folks that I won't defund the police.
Okay. Well, that will be certainly, it'll be something that your opponent brings up here.
Yeah, I think the opponent should bring it up. I think she's absolutely full of shit. I think that she's coming out and she's making these new talking points so that way people don't know who she really is. But you start learning about the DSA and you're going to realize that this is across the board their belief system. They believe getting rid of police will somehow make us a safer country. Now explain that one to me. Explain. Anybody who actually has looked up history, seen how societies have worked with and without police. In fact, right now in the world we live in, look at some of the countries that don't have police. And then here's another one. I don't know what's going on, but it's these middle-aged women with college educations. They think they're so freaking smart. You know what I'm saying? They think they know how to run the country because they went and got a degree on philosophy. Ah, my goodness. Let's see what Ophelia, what do you have to say about this?
I really think that when in a time where we are spending more money than we have ever spent on policing, in a time where policing is more militarized than it has ever been, the fact that we are still asking the question, do we feel safe, is very telling.
No, no.
And as someone who studies this question of safety, in my research, this question of criminality, I am someone who has looked for answers that actually bring real safety to our communities, and that is funding the programs that are actually correlated with an increased sense of safety and actual safety in our communities. And that is work that I am proud that I will continue to advocate for. I know that we will not get rid of police overnight. That was never the goal. But the goal is to make sure that we get to a place as a society where we do feel safe.
Yeah, you know what? We actually do feel safe. We are living in some of the most safest times in human history. One of the reasons is because of the system we live under, because of law and order. You know what I'm saying? These people are just absolutely comical. And now if we go over, here's an actual town, right, that they didn't vote to defund the police. They just forgot to give their police department money. And so they ended up having to not have no police department there. So let's hear exactly what's going on. And this is what America will look like. This was what America will look like if DSA takes control, guys. So here we go.
The left love the idea of defunding the police. It's going to be great, they tell us. Well,
right.
Let's go to a small town in Mississippi that doesn't have a budget for a police force anymore and see how it's going.
Hey, man, them folks said, ain't no police out here, man. Them folks got sticks. Them folks said, we finna show you. No police be around this hole. Them folks finna. This the police station, man. You hear me? Them folks said,
Look at that.
ain't no them folks say they run their own city. They run the city. Look, police. Look, them folks. Look at that man.
Yeah, look at that right there, guys. No police in this town, and what do you have? You have thugs and criminals with weapons out there controlling the town. And now this is a really small town, right? And so it probably feels like it isn't a big deal. But I think some of the things that the DSA is forgetting is when you remove police, you know, I know one of the things they want to do is remove the military, just defund them, defund the military. These people and their voters, they must not understand that without the military, without police, other countries would invade. Mexico, right on our border, the cartel, they're already in our country and we have the police here. Imagine if we just got rid of all that. This right here, this would be throughout America. You would see violence skyrocket. We cannot live in a world where it's just this peaceful, everybody hold hands. It's just a fictional world. We are not programmed like that. It takes a lot for us not to commit a crime. I know that sounds crazy, but let me give you an example. I was just in Chicago last week for my son's Navy graduation. And it was my first time there. I don't know if you've ever been to the Navy graduate place there, but there's a part where the road comes to an end and they kind of meet each other and you got to scoot over, right? Where I'm from, people usually just kind of slow down and let you in. Thank you, right? In Chicago, not so much. If you're from Chicago and you're watching this video, let me know in the comments that what I'm saying is real, right? Because I'm over there trying to get in. And these cars are bumper to bumper. They will not let me in. I'm even looking at the people. I'm looking at the lady. I'm looking at the guy. Nope, they're not letting me in. Eventually, I had to just push my way through, right? And I finally got in. I didn't get, of course, the guy behind me honked, right? The laws that we have and the law enforcement that enforces those laws is what stops me and you, whether you want to admit it or not, from taking the thoughts in our head of what we'd want to do and then compare it to the consequences if we do it. You know what I'm saying? If you took away the idea of consequences, I don't know what I would have done. I'm telling you right now. And I know you've been in the same position. Even road rage is a thing. Can you imagine if there's no laws? Come on, DSA, where's your answer for that? I know. Oh, I know what I'd tell you. I would just be like, oh, you know, I was having a bad day. I was running late. That's why I unloaded on that car. You know, sorry, I didn't mean to, you know, unalive like 3 of them. Like, these people are so absolutely stupid, guys.
Oh boy, they run their own city. That's Goodman, Mississippi, a city of about 1,200 people with not a single police officer, which is what the Democratic Party wants nationwide. I'm serious. It's been like this there for about a year, and residents are understandably concerned.
That broke my heart. And I think we all need police protection. If someone breaking in your home and you in the house, you know, you dial 911, you don't want the officer or the sheriff department to be 17 miles away.
Yeah. Scary. Tad Pitts is the Assistant Commissioner and Colonel of the Mississippi Highway Patrol. Colonel, it's great to have you. Goodman hasn't had a police department for a year. I know the Mississippi Highway Patrol has now stepped in. They're helping out. Can you take us through the situation there?
Yes, sir. So we saw the video, which we found disturbing, as you did. And then we started getting calls from citizens shortly after, concerned, kind of incited fear. So we immediately decided to send numerous troopers and some of our other officers from our commercial traffic enforcement and other divisions that we have in the Department of Public Safety to help secure that area. And that's what we did. We went up there with high visibility patrols, and we're there to answer calls for service and just make sure that the citizens felt safe.
Yeah. So you weren't aware of the situation there until you saw these videos like us?
No, sir. We're not aware of the lack of officers. No, sir.
Yeah. I want to play you one more video. This is just a look at what the town looked like before your highway patrol officers got there.
Hey, man, the smackers out here. Get somebody in there. Exactly. Look at him. Look at him, fool. Look at his mind, fool. Oh, hell no, fool.
So have you guys had to make a lot of arrests? I mean, it looks like an Uzi or an AK-47, or I mean, these guys are armed like to the teeth. And I don't know if they're out there just playing around, having a good time, but it looks like it could escalate pretty seriously.
No, these individuals are actually dangerous individuals. We've been able to identify them. Some arrests have been made, and the county that they were housed in, some bonds have been revoked because they've been previous arrests made on them.
Yeah.
Of course, if you look, some of those guns had switches on them, which is the thing we're dealing with across our state, which we've made a state crime along with it's already a federal crime. So we're trying to enforce as much as we can and stop things like this from happening.
Do we need police in communities as small as Goodman?
Oh, yes, sir. And that's kind of the message that we give to all of we have a lot of rural communities in Mississippi that don't have the resources to maybe police or have to get what they need done. And so that's what we do. We try to fill the gap.
Yeah, and I hope the state can reach out and give you guys the resources that you need. And I just, I'm so happy that you were able to join us tonight, because Goodman's a small town. I didn't know a lot about Goodman before today. But this is a great example. There is a political party in this country that wants to defund the police and make sure we don't have police, and they want to get rid of prisons. And if this is what's happening in a small town like Goodman with 1,200 people, imagine what New York City would look like if there were no police. It would be the end of the earth, it would be anarchy. Yeah. Final thought, Colonel.
Yeah, well, I just think here in Mississippi, the Department of Public Safety, our goal is to prop up our local cities and communities. And that's our message to them, is that we're here to fill the gap and help them so that the citizens feel safe.
Yeah. Is it true there's a community college in Goodman?
There is, yes, sir.
Do the students feel safe?
Yeah, they actually have a campus police that actually is on that campus, so they have a little more than the town actually has now.
Are they armed, the campus police?
Yes, sir.
I hope so. Colonel Tad Pitts, appreciate you being
Oh,
with
my
us.
goodness,
Good luck
guys.
with Goodman and the rest of the state. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, there we go, guys. It's absolute madness. If you think about what the DSA wants to do, this idea that you're going to remove the police and you're going to remove borders, right? I think one of our downfalls in this country is that we don't see the reality of how things really are. And what I mean by that is when we hear of the cartel, we know like they're bad, right? But we don't really ever see what that means, right? For example, there are pictures of what the cartel have done to humans that would absolutely shock you, right? And we can look at Mexico as an example. They have police, they have corrupted police, but even with their corrupted police, look at how much control the cartel has. And that's exactly what would happen within the United States if we defunded the police. Now, like he was saying, this is a small town. Imagine in a place like New York, Los Angeles, right? One thing I know is all these liberal people that don't believe in the Second Amendment, I don't even know if they're thinking about their own safety. You know what I'm saying? It's like I don't think they understand that the reason they get to be who they are, they get to talk the way they talk, is because of law and order. If you remove those, the stupidity that's coming out of their mouths, I don't know if people are gonna just be okay with debating. And I'm not saying that to sound like mean or anything. I'm just saying that these people don't really think. They live in this reality that is just false, absolutely false. We need the police. We need to give more money to the police. We need to have more police, and we need to hold people accountable for the crimes that they commit. That's just how I feel, guys. Now, I want to know how you feel about this story. I don't know if you keep up with the DSA. You should. If you haven't, the DSA is growing, and some of their ideas is absolutely insane. They're really focusing on the college kids and kind of letting them know just how horrible America is and how hard it is to live in America, and that they're going to fix the problems with their ideas. And so let me know what you think. Do you think it's a good idea to get rid of the police? Do you think it's a good idea to get rid of borders? Screw it. Why not? Let's just get rid of the Senate, get rid of let me know that you don't believe in any of this crap, because if you do, I'm not sure how you made it all the way to this part of the video. So that's going to be it, guys, for today. Thank you so much for sticking around. Oh, don't forget, I'm always forgetting to tell you, hit that subscribe button, like the video, leave a comment. I want to know exactly how you feel. And I always I even tell my kids this, guys, America, as we know it, it is the greatest country on earth. We've been around 250 years, and look how far we've come and everything we've accomplished. We need to make sure, guys, that we fight for our country and defend our values. That is very important, so we can keep the American dream alive. All right, guys, you take care. I will see you on the next video.